Ah, hello there, my child. Here for another story? Yes. How about the legend of Orkinia? I've already told you that story, Well, have I ever told you the tale of the Nords? Before the Fairy War, there was a time when all men died. They called it the Atom Plague. It was a blight upon humanity, and, like many plagues, this was a fabrication of the shadow government to experiment on the human populace. The shadow government was killing off its human test subjects too quickly. They still needed them alive. So they sent Agent Darling, and he disguised as a non-faction mercenary and set off into the magical land of NORD. In a year, humanity lost over half of its population. At this point in history, most humans lived in the Grey Waste, and the factions were run predominantly by the race of man. The great factions of knights, wixards, and the church gathered in the heart of Grey. They called a truce that day. They band together and vowed to cure this evil. The plague doctors were sent out by the church to cure what they could. They put their greatest minds and most able bodies to work on a cure for this terrible disease that was Atom Plague. And amidst the talks, Darling entered, swift as a fox. He brought word of a machine in the Grey Waste that could help them with their predicament. The factions each sent one representative, men who were highly resilient and had not fallen to the plague. The heroes were Northrop, a champion of the Knights faction; Ocean, a talented young Wixard sorcerer; Ronan, an applicator from the Church faction; Darling, the dashing mercenary. Together, they were Team NORD. These men had an uncanny resistance to the plague, and for that they were chosen. They ventured forth and slew a great many beasts that stood in their way. They made their way to the city of little goblin folk. There they met Jeremy Goblin, a scholar and keeper of the machine. He was a servant to humanity. It was his honor to aid in their quest. The machine combined all four of the men into one being. He was strong, powerful, and his name was Adam NORD. There were 100 of him, and from that 100, the human race was replenished. From that point onward, nearly every human born would be called NORD spawn. The coming of NORD brought about such an increase in population that the humans needed more land, and this led them to the fairy forest and, ruefully, to the great fairy war. And after a time, the shadow government resumed its twisted plague operations. However, the Nords proved much harder to kill by way of plague.